we need to go around it, and go under it, go over it, or go through it. We need to figure it out. We have to learn how to deal with problems. And as leaders, that's our position. You know, we are in a position to solve problems. That's what we're getting paid for. We have teams under us who are going to create problems sometimes, or run into problems and deal with problems. And a lot of times they're not going to be able to deal with it themselves, so they come to you, and that's your job to solve the problem. And then sometimes there's some things that you can't really make a decision on, right? So you have to be able to share this with someone above you, someone who supervise, someone who can make a decision to help you to solve this problem of yours as well. So, and I would also recommend that you guys teach this to you guys as teams, so that when they come to you with problems, they do the same. It'll make everything more efficient, more productive. Your team will become more competitive. It'll be more enjoyable, because you're gonna deal with problems, but the faster that you get rid of them in a more efficient, effective way, and it just makes things better for everyone. When we talk about problem solving, best problem solving happens in the best state. The best problem solving happens in the best state. What is best state? I'm not talking about California. I'm not talking about the best state. When I'm saying the best state, I mean, what is your energy? What is your attitude? What is your mood? What kind of emotions are running through your body? That is your state. Okay? So an example, if you have a low quality state, like doubt. If you have a problem, can you deal with some doubt? Like, oh shit, am I gonna be able to do this? Like, can I overcome this? Can I handle this? I don't know if I can, like, some doubt might come up, right? Or some fear, depending on the problem, some fear can come up, right? Because you have some uncertainty, you're not sure what's gonna happen. Maybe you create some anxiety. Maybe it's something that you did. Maybe it's a problem that you created, so you feel a little bad about it. You regret it, you feel guilty. Or maybe you feel somebody did something and it's just getting annoying, right? Maybe you're annoyed, maybe you're frustrated, maybe you're freaking angry. Maybe it's gone past irritation and you're just furious. These are all different types of states that you can be in, that we all have dealt with when you run into a problem. When we have this problem before us, and if we are in doubt or fear, guilt, frustration, anger, any one of these, what are your ideas going to be like? What are your solutions going to be like? They're not going to be the highest quality, because you're not in the highest quality state. So if you want the highest quality, solution for that problem, you need to be in the highest quality state. Now, who's in charge of that? We are. So as leaders, we need to have that self-awareness, that consciousness, that emotional intelligence, because in every industry, in every business, the top performers, the top producers are the ones who have the highest emotional intelligence. They're the ones who are aware what's going on through their body. They can manage themselves, they can control themselves, they can motivate themselves, all because they're aware of their state. That's emotional intelligence. Okay? So when there is a problem, you have to have this consistent self-discipline. And I say consistent because you're going to consistently get problems. So when you get this problem, you have to, okay, yes, am I in the best state? And it doesn't need to take that long, guys. You just need to do a little scan of yourself of like, okay, what kind of emotion is running through my body right now? What is this making me feel like? And it's not about like, oh, I'm not supposed to feel that. No, I can't feel that, I can't feel that. It's not about that, it's about being aware of it first. Okay, this is making me angry, yeah? And you start looking at the situation, maybe you had good reason. But even if it's good reason, you want the best solution. And you know that you're not going to get it in a low quality state. Okay? Even if you have right and reason to feel these things. Even if what happened or what was done to you deserves you to be angry at this person or at this situation, even if you have right and reason, it's not going to serve you, because you're not going to get your best solution. You want to create a higher quality state, such as clarity. Okay, so if you have a problem and it's before you, if you're not clear on it, if you haven't really thought it through, if you didn't do that critical thinking, you're not going to be so confident about overcoming it. Because you're not clear. Kind of like if I turn off all the lights in here and it's all dark in here and I say, all right, run across the room. Are you going to be confident to run across the room? No, because you can't see. It's not clear. It brings up some uncertainty. You don't know where the heck you're going, right? So you need clarity in order to begin to create a certainty and a confidence for yourself, which is a higher quality state. So clarity is really important. You can create some confidence. You can create certainty, gratitude. Can you create gratitude? when you're standing before a problem? It all depends on our perspective of how we're looking at this problem. So we can create gratitude by looking past it. Okay, there's some potential here. There's, there's some possibility here. Or maybe if there's problem is before you, maybe you can't for you at this time. So you need to be strong enough, disciplined enough to be like, okay, I'm in a low quality state and I can't change it right now. So I need to change my perspective. I need to look at something else first. Let me think about my kids. Let me think about that, man, I'm freaking alive right now. I'm breathing, my heart is beating, I'm healthy, I have a job. Like, let me take my eye off of this because right now it's generating this, a low quality energy. And I know I'm not gonna get my best solution there, so let me be control of myself. Let me have freaking self-discipline. Let me have power to understand, like, okay, it's not working this way, so let me think about something else to generate gratitude for myself. Because in that gratitude, that's one of the highest quality states you can possibly be in. So if you can't do it while you're standing before the problem, you need to be disciplined enough to, okay, let me shift somewhere else. Let me get my mind focused on something else so I can change my state. Because the way you change your states is by changing your focus plus your physical movements and expressions. Okay? So whatever you're focusing on, that's going to create feeling for you. Focus generates feeling. A feeling is an emotion, and that's a part of your state. So whatever you're focusing on and how you're focusing on that is going to generate a certain emotion. So your focus plus your physical movements will actually generate your state. Now, the easiest thing to do to change your state is your physical movement. Your physical movement generates energy. So if you begin to smile, I've talked this to you guys before, if you smile and you hold that for 15 seconds, even though you're not happy, you actually begin to generate happiness. If you're not angry, but you hold an angry face and you just hold it for 15 seconds, you actually generate anger. It's crazy, but it's true, it's fact. So if we understand that and we know that we need to generate a higher state to have a better solution, even though we don't feel like it, we know that we want to feel like it, so we'll make a face like it. Even though we don't feel like it, it's not being a hypocrite. It's you making a decision to generate what you want to be in because it's going to help you to solve a problem. It's not about allowing your emotions to be the boss of you and run you. Like if you don't feel good, now you're just not going to feel good for the rest of the day because that's how you feel? Or can you interrupt that shit real quick and say, you know what, I want to have joy. I want to have gratitude. I want to stay in that. Yes, I don't like what was happening. I don't like what that person did, but I'm not going to give them the power to mess up my day. Because not only is it now there's a problem, but now you're messing up my day. I'm not going to give you that much power. Some people carry it beyond the day though, right? They go into a week, they go into a month, they hold these things for years. What does that do for you? So we have to learn how to change our focus, our physical movements to generate the state that we need to get the best solution. So I go through the same thing too, where I have to challenge myself and be like, well, I gotta step it up. This is something that we get to do. Now, you don't have to do it. You don't have to generate. You can just go with your emotions. You can allow your emotions to be the boss of you and feel good about it and have right. You can do that. So you don't have to, but you get to. You can change your emotional state anytime. And again, your state is going to help you to have a better solution. State, strategy, system. Because if you have a better state, you're going to have a better solution. If you have a better solution, you get better results. All right, so what are the 3 steps that we're going to go through right now? So the 3 steps to problem solving. When you're going to deal with a problem for yourself or when you're going to present some solutions to somebody else, whether you're a supervisor or maybe your husband or your wife or your kids, either way, when you begin to use this structure, it's going to help you to become a much more effective problem solver. But what are the steps here? You need to create the right state, create the right strategy, and then create the right system. This is how you deal with problems in the most effective way. Create the right strategy. So again, your state is your focus and your movement. So the way you do that, before you get your problem, you're gonna move around, even today. You're gonna move around, generate some energy like we did last time, right? Smile, like be happy, generate a higher quality state, movement with your focus, what you're focusing on, and then you're gonna go to the next thing. Well, after you generate that emotion, you're gonna sit down or stand up to you. So you're gonna change your state, come up with your strategy in that state. Now, how are you gonna come up with the strategy? We're going to use the grow system, the grow tool here. It's an acronym. So what is your goal? So your current reality, this is the problem. This is what you need to deal with. This is the R. This is your current reality. What is your goal to do with this problem, with this current reality? What do you want to do with it? What's your objective here? Okay, so you're right here, but where do you want to go? That's the G, that's the goal. Where do you want to go? Okay, and then also, now that you have your problem, you know where you're going. Okay, now what are my options? What are my 3 options to get to that place, to my goal? If I'm here and I want to get there, what are my 3 ways, the 3 paths that I can get there? That's the next step. And then as I look at this first path, I'm like, okay, I can get there this way. But what are the pros and cons to this option? And you write it down, you think it through. As you see yourself actually doing it, what are the possible problems, resistance? What are the things that you can run into on your way on that path? And then think of some solutions for that. How are you going to overcome that? Okay, once you think through that path very good, now you go to the next one. Okay, here's my second option. I can get there this way too. But what are the pros and cons to this? What are the possible obstacles, the resistance that I can get on this path? Okay, what are the solutions that I'm going to bring up when those things come up? Right? And then I do the same thing to the third one. Now that I have these 3 options, now that I can see clearly the pros and cons to each, now I can have a much more wise decision on which one's the best. Now I go through this, you can even talk to somebody else about it to make sure you're not missing something. Hey, look at this, I have something right here. Tell me what you think. This is my problem. These are the options I'm thinking. I know this can come up, this can come up. Here are the pros and cons to each. What do you think about this? They can see something that you didn't see before, right? They can ask you a question to make it more clear in what you're saying. It can really help you to get more clarity, more confidence, more certainty. That even brings your state even higher. Which way is the best way? Now that you've done that, right? Then you need to come and think of a system for your follow through. I think this one's the best. This is what we'll do to follow through to make sure that it's happening. Here are some schedules. Here are some deadlines to make sure that these things are getting done. Or I'm going to come back to you and give you an update at this time so we can adjust, because sometimes you need to do that. Right? Sometimes as you go, even though it's the best idea at that moment, as you are going and following through, you're going to track and measure. Is this working? Is this decision working? And as you're doing that, you're going to adjust. That's normal. You should always be adjusting, always be measuring, always be evaluating, because it can always get better. If you don't measure it, you can't manage it. You guys are managers. So if you're not measuring things and the goals of your people, you can't manage them. If you can't manage them, your department will not grow. It can't. It's just going to survive or settle or just do just enough or barely meet them. You're not going to grow. You have to measure. So that's the next part to it. So you have the state, the strategy, and the system.